screen recording is going to go over week 11 process book instructions. Okay, so this week in the process book there are two projects that it's going to cover. So the first is wrapping up project 4, the website style guide. So basically you're at the finishing point of this project. You're just going to combine the website header that you worked on last week with all your previous iterations, the latest version of the website with all the feedback you've gotten, and just drop it in here, the final one. So make sure you've read through the project brief and you've included all the different parts that need to be in there, all the pull quotes and headers, and everything is tagged and styled properly. So just read through one more time and make sure you have all those moving parts ready, that your header is in there. You're just going to place InDesign document here, and then step 10 is where you're going to put it in a digital mockup, a PSD mockup, and then stick it in here. And if you look at this announcement where the screencast is posted, I will give you a mockup to use that it will be like a tablet mockup that will showcase the whole vertical format of this website. I made one specially for it, so it should be all the right dimensions and everything should be there, and you just need to drop in your final project and put the digital PSD on this page. And that is, then the Behance post, sorry. And after you upload it to Behance, and make sure you have a paragraph describing the assignment. Make sure it's professional, gives the purpose, helps the viewer understand what the purpose of the project was. And yeah, once you've created this Behance page for the project, then you'll be done with project number 4, which is exciting. And then on to project number 5, our last project. So this project they're calling a gift booklet. So if we jump over here to the project brief, which is also in week 11, this is kind of what it's going to look like. So they would like you to choose a general conference talk from this most recent conference, and basically you're just designing a layout for it in this kind of brochure booklet style. So imagine that this is a booklet you would be giving to someone kind of as a gift, or you want them to read it, kind of like in the same vein as the Ensign, how they have conference talks and they're laid out, they pull out quotes, there's a photo of the speaker. Kind of think of the Ensign if you're trying to understand what this is going to look like, but just a single talk instead of a whole magazine. So you're going to take the text of the talk and design a multi-page printed booklet that is a gift. So this is focusing on typographic hierarchy. So as in our last project, we used hierarchy and typography on a website. This is almost the same thing, but it's in a printed booklet version. So very similar in nature. Let's see. So things to think about as you design. Does it feel like a gift? Is it a nicely presented thing? We don't want just, black on white, single column, no design. We want this to really feel like it's been thought out and presented carefully. Can you tell what it is? Is it inviting? Do you want to read it? Do you use colors and typography? Just read through all these things as you're designing and kind of ask yourself these questions to make sure you're on the right track. The specifications. So the book is 7 by 10 inches when it's all folded together. It's going to be 8 pages plus a cover, saddle stitched. So saddle stitched means it's just right as like this diagram shows, the pages are just set inside of each other. So you fold them and then they're just kind of layered into each other, just like that. That's what saddle stitch is. So this sounds, obviously you're not actually printing this. I think this was more directions from a in-person class when they were printing it. But just think of the cover as being a slightly thicker paper than the inside pages, 100-pound versus 80-pound. And here's kind of a layout of how the pages collate and go together. So you have a front cover, the inside cover, and then page 1. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the back inside cover and the back cover. So let's see, this will start to make more sense as we move into what it looks like as you're designing it. Okay, so here's the big list of all of the specifications that you need to have. So make sure you read through this carefully because it will talk about dimensions, required content, which is a general conference talk. They only want you to use one photograph of the speaker, as we saw that photo of President Oaks at the top. So just have their single photograph and a caption on it. So this whole thing is meant to be typographic. So no illustrations, no photos, no extra frills, just strictly type-based except for this one photo of the speaker. Yeah, right here, typographic solution, no images or illustrations. Cover must be typographic as well. Only use fonts from the class list. And then this part talks about basically what the whole last project 4 was about. Make sure you're using paragraph and character styles when you create this, just like in that last screencast where we talked about all the rainbow type page, that one. Just make sure everything is tagged properly with the different styles so that it's easy to edit them. Here are the styles they want: body copy, headline, subhead, author, caption, notes, and anything else that you might need. A header, footer, character styles, so make sure things are italicized and bold. That should be. Titles of books, superscripts, and footnotes are properly done. Page numbers, which you are required to have, are in there in a different style. So just make sure all these specifications are met. You need a minimum of 3 colors, and make sure to use a grid. So you want to design or figure out what kind of grid you want before you begin. Is it 2 columns, 4 columns? Does it have 6 rows, 10 rows? Make sure you kind of decide on that and then use that to lay out your book. So here's a previous example. So you can see they kind of used a pull quote as a typographic element. So not every page has to be full of text from the talk. You can use typography to do things like this, just a pull quote on one page, which faces a more text-heavy page on the other. There's their one photo they used of the speaker, opposite of a page of type. So yeah, get creative. Don't just stick with black and white, full-page text on each one. You really want to let the typography shine here and get creative with how you present the content of the talk. Okay, so here's the breakdown of what you're going to be doing this week, steps 1 through 4. So let's go back over here and look at what that looks like in the process book. So read the brief and choose the talk is step 2. So on this page, you're literally just going to copy and paste the talk off of LDS.org just in its entirety into the book. It's saying you need 1.5 to 2 pages worth of content. So I think every conference talk should fill that specification. And then step 3 wants you to make a mind map. So for those of you who have never made one of these before, here's a description of what they are. It's just kind of a map of associations. So how you make one is right in the center of the page you will put your topic. And then around it you just start writing or drawing, even if you want, anything you associate with the topic. So if the topic is family, you could start writing mother and father, brother, sister, things you do as a family, family vacations, the home, genealogy, anything that has to do with family, you just start writing around it. And basically there's no right or wrong way to do this. You're just going to fill the page with anything you associate with family. And if you think better in doodles, you can use drawings to communicate this. You can use words. You can reference other materials, books, articles, other art you think of. Just fill the page basically with anything you associate with whatever word you put in the center. So it's going to help you clarify what you're trying to communicate and may introduce new ideas to help you see the topic in a new light. This is actually a really useful thing for designers, and I've used them before when you kind of feel stuck and you're looking for a fresh way to approach a familiar topic. This can be a great way to just get all of your associations and ideas just out there on the paper. And it's just for you, for your benefit. It doesn't have to be neat. It can be really sloppy. However you think best, just put it on the page in one of these mind maps. So this is to determine a direction for your design. So you can do this mind map based on the topic of your talk. So if we go back to the beginning here, oh, sorry, on this page, hers was in opposition in all things. And you can kind of see this theme of opposition and how she designed. So opposition is big and heavy, all things is thinner and lighter. So that's how she showed opposition, was in this contrasting font. So her mind map, one of the associations with the word opposition maybe is contrast, thick and thin, big and small. Those could be elements of opposition that she then incorporated in her typography. So as you're doing yours, just kind of think along the same veins. So like I said, if you're trying to show, maybe the talk is on family, how could you communicate family in typography? Well, there's families of type. You can show type in different sizes to represent different people, different styles to represent different parts of the human family. So just kind of abstract ways of thinking about this that you can show that idea in typography in an interesting way. The last step for this week is to thumbnail it. So this is the page of thumbnails that you can print. So each of these rows is a different idea. So this is idea 1, idea 2 is the second row. As you can see, here's the 8 pages with the front and back cover, so each row is a separate iteration. So you can print this page. This part is just saying if you want to print pages that have grids already on them, this is how you can print them out of InDesign. So as you can see, these ones don't have a grid, they're just blank spaces, but if you want to be more organized in your sketching, here's how you can print out gridded thumbnail sheets. So it's up to you. You can use this one if you want to put a little more time to make a grid, or just print out this pre-done one and use that to draw on. And that is all there is for Project 5 this week in the process book. And of course, remember to do these little activities at the end and the ponder page, but that should cover everything you need to do this week. So again, we're finishing up Project 4, starting Project 5, and look for that mock-up for Project 4 in the same post as this screencast, and make sure you read the brief to get started on Project 5. Good luck.